Hello, hockey fans. Welcome into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Round 2 is in the books. We are down to 4. Just the 4 we thought we were going to have, right? The Golden Knights, the Stars, the Hurricanes, and the Panthers. We're going to see some wild history no matter what happens the rest of the way. We've already seen some fantastic history. Another fantastic Game 7 last night. We're seeing some great hockey. The return of a fantastic goalie. And we're seeing some organizations make some runs that some haven't for several years. And yet the youngest one is the most experienced group when it comes to this stage of the game. Family affairs all over the place, so much to go through in the conference finals and in wrapping up round 2. Plus, it's IE Sports Radio's birthday. The station is officially 9 years old now. To celebrate, every show is doing something different during the week. And we've got something in store for you planned at the end of the show. All that plus more coming up here on the Neutral Zone. Do not go anywhere. Here we go. And hello and good evening again, everyone. I am Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis along with us as well tonight. Welcome in to the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio. No games to go through tonight. We've actually got a Tuesday night without NHL games, but that doesn't mean we don't have things to be talking about. Round 2 wrapped up last night with yet another fantastic Game 7, a nail-biter all the way down to the end, but Dallas arose victorious, defeating the Seattle Kraken to advance to the Western Conference Finals, their second time in the penultimate round in the last couple of years, and they find an old familiar foe there in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, out east, we've got Carolina and we've got Florida. Yeah, two natural, just when you think hockey, you automatically think Raleigh, North Carolina and Homestead, Florida. Sure, very natural hockey destinations everywhere. It is a new NHL, that is for sure. Lots to be getting through tonight, and we will put a bow on the second round and get you all set for the conference finals starting in just a couple of nights. But before we get the show properly underway, of course, we do need to do our homework here on the show, and that is get you caught up to date on everything going on with IE Sports Radio. Zach Puplis, first of all, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I believe you've got a read for us tonight.
Sure. For the last 9 years now, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all very much for continuing to make IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. That being said, we want to thank our Patreon supporters, Bay Area Raised, M. Los Great, Key to the Gate, as well as Anonymous.
And IE Sports Radio is available for you on all the major social platforms, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just search at IE Sports Radio. This show is available for you on Twitter. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. I am at Adam_Karnick. Zach, what's your Twitter handle?
At the Pupless.
There you go. There you have it. Follow us on all the socials. We'll give you a follow back. And if you're listening live here on this Tuesday night on Spreaker.com, hop on into the chat. You will find Larry B. He has been very busy in the chat room already. He's saying go Ducks. I hate to break it to you, Larry. I don't think the Ducks are going to be any good anytime soon. Larry has a terrible time picking teams. I mean, he's Ducks in hockey. He's Raiders in football. I mean, that's kind of rough.
Brutal.
We need to find a substitute team for Larry. He also says he wanted Seattle to make it into the conference finals, and I think, we're very Seattle sympathetic on this show. Also, we both have family out in the Great Pacific Northwest. So, yeah, I'm with you there, Larry. That the Kraken making it would have been very nice, but instead we get Dallas down there, and so we could be seeing something that we haven't seen in a while. We could see the Stars actually win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I was with you. They were down 2-0 last night, and then they got that. They got the one with when they pulled their goalie with 17 seconds left, and I was like, oh my gosh! So you're telling me there's a chance? There's always a chance as long as there's a puck on the ice and time on the clock. You never know. Well, yeah. I mean, just look at. I was hoping it was going to go like the Florida-Boston series did. That they were going to hold on until just about the last second and then score and then take it to overtime and then win. We've seen games like that in these playoffs, but overall that was an impressive game that we saw last night from Texas, winning 2-1 in Game 7, and that's as good a spot as any to start the show. Since we don't have any live games tonight to break down and be going through, Game 7 from last night is as good a spot as any to begin. And anytime you've got a low-scoring game like that, of course, you've got to think of the goalie. Jake Ottinger winds up making 22 saves, 17 seconds away from pitching a shutout there in Game 7. Very impressive performance from Ottinger and the Dallas defense. I was surprised. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing live, unfortunately. Having toddlers, having a toddler and a newborn in the house, I'm able to watch as much as I can, but I can't tell you the last time I was able to actually watch a whole game live. What I was seeing live, though, I was impressed, Zach, by how dominant Texas was in just commanding the puck. It seemed like they were in control of the puck, it felt like, all night. Yeah, definitely. I would say so too. I mean, a lot of the other previous games, they definitely had swings of momentum and higher scoring, but this one, they led from the get-go. I was texting Nate and I said, okay, it's the end of the first period. Okay, scoreless. Okay, end of the second period, Dallas up 1-0. Okay. And then I think I left for dinner and came back, and yeah, it was 2-0. I was like, oh man.
Yep. Well, looking at it too, of course, you have Ottinger making all the saves, but then the other big takeaway from me, Dallas with 14 takeaways to just 3 for Seattle. So even when Seattle was getting possession of the puck, they weren't able to hang on to it because the Dallas defense was just pressing so well and doing such an excellent job of taking the puck away and staying in command.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned, it could be the first time in a while we see Dallas win the cup. Like, they were in the final. Was that in the bubble against Tampa Bay, I think?
Yes, that was in the bubble.
Okay. So it's just, 3 years ago they had made the cup final. But it had been since 99 since they won the cup. We looked at that when we got to the second round, the last time people had won cups. And so you've got a perfect mix right now with the Final Four. Carolina won the cup in 2006. Dallas won it last in 99, plus two that have never won the cup, Florida and Vegas. But I was thinking about it last night after the game. I said, man, had Seattle won, 3 of the 4 in the finals would have never won a cup.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be guaranteed, had Seattle won the game, we'd be guaranteed that whoever came out of the West would be looking to win its first title.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just we're looking either for a first title or a first title this century.
Yeah, exactly.
How long had they been in Dallas by 99? Because they were still in Minnesota, 94, 95, something like that, right? I will look that up. Well, one of us needs to look that up while the other one keeps talking.
I will look it up right now.
There you go. Well, you look that up. Larry, I do see your question there about the Stanley Cup. We'll get to that when we preview the conference finals a little bit more. Let's put a bow on round 2 a little bit here. Staying in the West, the other series, Vegas and Edmonton. Yet again, Edmonton comes up short, this time in the second round instead of the Western Conference final, but they're still coming up short. They're still failing to advance, this time losing game 6 to Vegas, 5-2. Aiden Hill is such a huge story for Vegas coming out of that one. The young man who was, the third goalie in Vegas's depth chart, if you will. They just acquired him only a couple of months ago, and in his 2 starts against Edmonton to wrap up the series, only gave up something like 5 goals and made 70 saves against that Edmonton team. He made 38 saves in game 6. Just super impressive. And then, of course, you have Marchessault getting the first natural hat trick in Las Vegas postseason history. And that's really what helped put Vegas over the top in Edmonton, up in Canada, to win that one. So you've got the Golden Knights now getting to take on the Stars. And that is going to be a very intriguing and good matchup. We'll talk about more about that just a little bit.
I got an answer.
All right.
The North Stars moved to Dallas in 1993, so they were only in Dallas about 6 years before they won a cup.
Okay, so that was 6 or 7 seasons. Okay, so they had been there for a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
You know what I was trying to use as my frame of reference there?
What's that?
The Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
When that movie, I was trying to remember when that movie came out, because they go and watch a Minnesota North Stars game in the movie.
Oh, nice.
So I was trying to remember, when did that come out? Because obviously they were still in Minnesota at that point.
Well, I mean, Larry would know when that movie came out, right?
I don't know, Larry, is that going to be a subject of conversation in an upcoming Sports Couples Perspective? The Mighty Ducks. They did just come out with a limited series, I think, on Disney Plus. My wife, again, with having a newborn, we wind up watching television at all kinds of strange hours of the night. And so you wind up plumbing the depths of some of the streaming stuff. My wife decided to put on the original Mighty Ducks a few weeks ago, and we watched it. Not nearly as kid-friendly for a 5-year-old as we remembered it being.
Oh.
Those kids have filthy mouths for being 8-10 years old. My goodness. There's a lot of swearing, and a lot of it from the kids in that movie. It was like, all right, we have to explain to the 5-year-old that these are words that we don't use. Wound up having to have some conversations we weren't expecting to have, but going out. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I didn't realize that that was, when Marshall got that hat trick, that it was his first, or Vegas's first, natural hat trick of the postseason, like, ever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many postseason hat tricks they've had, period, but that was their first natural one.
What would be a non-natural one, I guess?
Okay, yes. Here we go. We get into some hockey nomenclature. Okay. So we'll back up a step. A hat trick. What is a hat trick? A hat trick is when one player scores 3 goals in a game. A natural hat trick is you would score all 3 goals in the same period.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference there.
So then that's natural hat trick, and then they just call, if you score them all in different periods, they just call it a hat trick. There's no like other leading adjective for it or anything.
Correct. Yeah. If it's you scored 1 in each period, that's a hat trick. Or
okay.
1 in one period and 2 in another, that's just a hat trick. It's if you get all 3 of them in the same period, then it's the natural hat trick.
A natural hat trick.
And hence, that's also where you get the hockey analytics site Natural Stat Trick.
Smart. Well, before Game 7 we were talking, and I had said, hey, win or lose, Seattle's definitely made a good impression on their first playoff trip. I mean, you look at expansion franchises, and Vegas definitely set the bar high with their first year, getting all the way to the Stanley Cup final. But, for Seattle to make it to the playoffs in their second year, to knock off the defending champs, and then, I think probably anything beyond that was gravy, really, for them.
Yeah, I mean, and what a way in your first 2 playoffs. Your first 2 playoff series both go the distance, both go Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got 14 postseason games under their belt, and they've only made 1 trip.
Yeah.
That's getting your money's worth.
Yeah. Did I? There was a good write-up on it from ESPN last night. Did I send it to you?
You did not send it to me, no.
Oh, maybe I sent it to Nate. Okay. The plaque in the Seattle Kraken locker room held 7 game pucks, signifying the first 7 Stanley Cup playoff wins in franchise history. There wouldn't be an 8th.
No, not yet. Not yet. Soon, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they make some noise next season as well. All right, let's head over to the East real quick before we take a break. So we've got the Panthers and the Hurricanes. Let's start with the Panthers, shall we? That Game 5. Wow. Needed overtime, 3-2. Both goalies played outstanding. Sergei Bobrovsky, 50 saves for the Bob in that game to get Florida over the hump and into the conference finals. But I don't want to take out what Toronto was doing a little bit there too at the end, just taking Game 4 and getting Game 5 all the way into overtime after going down 2-0, fighting their way in. Zach, am I crazy, or does it seem like the Maple Leafs may have a goalie in this young Joseph Woll?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. Seems like he performed admirably.
I mean, obviously the wins weren't there. He finished 1-2 overall, but comes in Game 4 and does a fantastic job getting that win, holding the Panthers to just 1 lone goal. And then after giving up a couple goals to start in Game 5, shuts everything down and makes, I got to do math. I hate when I have to do math. Makes 25 saves over the second and third periods to keep them in that and force and allow overtime to happen in the first place.
Yeah, you're right.
Larry's just trying to stir up trouble now in the chat. Now he's saying go Maple Leafs. What are they did get the monkey off their back at least of winning a series. I was expecting more from them in this series, frankly, but Florida's put it together seemingly. Do you think this was more Florida or more Florida's success or more Toronto's failures with this series?
Oh man, I I think they might have given it their all and emptied the tank just getting that first round series win, and maybe didn't have much left in them. But for as many stars that are on that team, I'm surprised they haven't made it further. Austin Matthews, Nylander, so on.
Yes, that's been part of the frustration with the Maple Leafs is they have all the talent in the world. They're a bit like your Detroit Lions. They have all the talent in the world, and they figure out how to do so very, very, very little with it. The difference being that the Maple Leafs at least make the playoffs before they fall flat on their face.
Right.
And then rounding out the East, you've got the Hurricanes handled business against New Jersey. And this, to me, that series to me just kind of felt like, besides the absolutely ridiculous high scoring that was going on, I mean, you had 12 goals in one game. And
right.
With the exception of Game 5. Game 5 actually had a hockey score. The rest of them were just drunk. Goalies were optional, I think. That series to me felt like finally things were right. New Jersey to me just kept surprising of why are the Devils still alive? Why are the Devils still in this thing? And then finally, okay, Carolina's putting them to bed. All right, we can move on now from the New Jersey thing.
Yeah. No, I was noticing that too. I had meant to talk about it last week before I couldn't make it. But the wild offensive swings in some of the games, it wasn't, okay, so clearly if a team is winning each game, 8-1, that they, the losing team's overmatched. But these games it was 8-1, Devils, and then it would be 5-1 Carolina, or, same thing with Seattle and Dallas and Vegas and Edmonton even. And it was crazy how night in and night out it could be such high scoring. I didn't quite look to see if it was, because of home field, home ice advantage, but I also know that stat was reversed this postseason. Did you?
Yeah, it was especially in round one. I mean, in round one, having home ice was actually a disadvantage. That wasn't quite the case in round two. I mean, you had in the Carolina-New Jersey series, having home ice, the first 3 games in 4 of the 5 all went to the home team in that series in particular, as I'm taking a quick peek at the other series. But, yeah, I mean, in the Toronto-Florida series, you had Toronto had home ice and did nothing with it. Lost all 3 games on home ice in that series. In the Vegas Edmonton series, you were split basically with home and road, so not a huge advantage there. And then Seattle and Dallas, that was also fairly well split. The home team at the end, the final 3 games all went home, but the first 4 were even splits. So the home ice is starting to right itself a little bit, but yeah, still in these playoffs, being on the road has not been a disadvantage to anybody so far.
Yeah. Then there was that tweet you sent me. You said, "Man, Marian Hossa, eat your heart out."
Oh gosh, yeah, I gotta thank you for reminding me of that. I gotta find that to bring that back up. Yeah, that was
I got it.
perfect. Right, give
Eric
the context there.
Eric Howla becomes the first player in Stanley Cup playoff history to be eliminated by the same opponent in 3 consecutive postseasons while playing for 3 different teams.
Yeah, Eric Howla, a defenseman, the most recently for New Jersey, has now been eliminated by the Hurricanes 3 years in a row.
He played for Nashville back in 21, Boston last year, and now New Jersey.
That's... at this point, you got to just sign with Carolina at this point. It's like, look, I'm not doing that. Either that or go play out west. Go sign with Edmonton. Lord knows they need defense.
Yeah. If you can't beat them, join them. I mean.
Right, exactly. That's your only course of action at this point.
Yeah, it's very, like you said, very similar to Hossa. Okay, let's see. Plays for Pittsburgh, loses to Detroit. Plays for Detroit, loses to Pittsburgh, and then finally plays for Chicago and wins a cup.
And wins the thing. But yeah, 3 times in the Stanley Cup Finals before he finally got it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, any last thoughts on the second round before we take a break and turn the page?
Not that I'm seeing anyways.
All right. Well then, we'll take a quick break, we'll reset, and then we will turn the page and start previewing the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. We're getting so close to the Stanley Cup Final, folks. This is where we're getting fun. All right. You are listening to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you looking for a sports show that maybe isn't 100% about sports?
Then you might want to check out the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Most sports shows cover only scores and stats, and while we're not opposed to that, we dig a little deeper into sports issues and some of the hottest topics in athletics.
In addition to sports, we take a journey through my neck of the woods, pulp culture, with movie reviews of both sports and non-sports films.
Speaking of pop culture, make sure to participate in our game nights, where we quiz each other on our specialties, and you, the listeners, can win IE Sports Radio apparel.
We always have a great time learning more about each other's worlds, one show at a time.
So join us each week on the Sports Couple Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Well, welcome back into the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm Zach Puplis here with Adam Karnick. Welcome back.
All right. So we broke down round 2 to start off the show. Now we've got the conference finals coming up. We're down to the final 4. Larry, you asked the question in the chat room earlier, can the Texas Stars win the Stanley Cup? Well, let's start there. Let's do the Dallas-Vegas series first. Zach, it's the Peter DeBoer Revenge Tour.
Mwahahaha. Well, I'll tell you one name that's definitely going to be pushing hard for them to get to the Cup final and win it all. Mr. Joe Thornton.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joe Pavelski too.
Yeah. I mean, they're still without a cup, both of them, right?
I think you're right. Yeah. But it's for me, it's the bench. It's, Peter DeBoer had the audacity to fail to make the playoffs last year with Vegas, the only time in their history that they've missed the playoffs. So they get rid of him. And now his first year with Dallas, all that's standing in his way from the Cup final is Vegas.
Too funny. Well, I mean, we've talked about this with the coaching carousel in hockey before, though. I mean, everybody's a retread, it feels like.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I think it's illegal to hire new coaches. You must have at least 10 years prior coaching experience in the NHL.
Tortorella, Laviolette, Bonus, Peter DeBoer.
I mean, we'll get into this a little bit in the East, but the Panthers coach was the Hurricanes coach even back when they were the Whalers.
Oh my gosh! Well, and who did Vegas grab now? They grabbed the Bruins coach, didn't they?
Yes, I think you're right there. Yeah,
the Bruins let go last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's everything is. The more things change, the more they stay the same there with the coaching carousel. But this is a rematch from the COVID postseason. You had brought it up a little bit last segment. This is back in 2020 when it was the Stanley Cup semifinal because they weren't really aligned in conferences.
Was the bubble? Or
in the Canadian bubble, these two teams met up in the semifinal round with Dallas beating Vegas.
Yeah. Well, another key player in this, I think, now that we talk so much about Edmonton and the video game numbers. Well, with Edmonton out, the next most highest, video game number player in the postseason, Rupe Hintz with 19 points this postseason.
Yeah, and Rupe Hintz with the go-ahead goal in Game 7 against Seattle last night. Hintz he's been having an excellent postseason. You brought up the 19 points. They've been doing this without David Robertson. He's only got 2 goals to this point in the postseason for the Stars. And you're talking about a guy that had almost 50 goals in the regular season. I mean, that was going to be my lead storyline if Seattle lost or Seattle won. It was going to be, well, where was Robertson for Texas that whole time? Why couldn't he get unloaded? Yet here they are in the Western Final, and he's got 2 goals, one of them in their very first postseason game. So you got over the course of, what? I got to look up how many games Texas needed to get through the first round, but 10 games, he's scored a goal.
I think it was 6 games. I think they won the series 4-2.
So yeah, in 12 games, he's scored a goal so far. What's the deal there, do you think?
Not sure, to be honest.
I mean, obviously, Rupe is doing a good job of covering, and you've got other guys for Texas that are stepping up and doing well so far in the playoffs. So it's obviously, they've made it this far, so they're not hurting, but it's surprising to me that they haven't had as much from Robertson at this point.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then Aiden Hill in net for Vegas. We talked about him a little bit last series. Can he carry them, you think? Can he get the job done with Vegas and be enough?
I think so. I mean, we were discussing, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that they might have another Fleury and Leonard situation on their hands with Aiden Hill being this good.
Yeah, and they've still got
Jonathan Quick even.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was trying to come up with. They still got Jonathan Quick waiting in the wings on the off chance.
Yeah. When he's your third string, I mean, I know he's kind of gone downhill a little getting older, but still, when he's your third string, that's pretty dang good.
And if nothing else, like we've seen it from Bobrovsky over on the other side, sometimes just having that experience that, hey, I've been here before, I've done this before, I know how to get here, I know how the game is played at this point. Sometimes that can be enough.
For sure.
But then with Vegas and Dallas, who do you like in this series?
Well, the casino man, I mean, he's got to go Vegas.
Yeah. I'm leaning that way too. I'm leaning that way also. Jack Eichel, this is his first postseason. He's playing like he belongs. He's averaging better than a point a night for Vegas. He's looking comfortable in it. Marchessault just had the natural hat trick. He's been playing well these postseasons. Aiden Hill is doing a really good job in net. It feels like, that this should be Vegas's opportunity to advance. It'd be their second cup final in just, 6 years of being in the league.
You're right. That's so wild.
It is bizarre. It is bizarre for sure. Larry B is also squarely in the Vegas corner. He wants the Golden Knights to win it all this year.
Yeah. That would be cool. Like, I think when we first figured out the Final Four, I think I told you Vegas and Carolina would be my vote. Well, that would be, I can go one way on that one, or I could go Vegas and Florida. That way, whoever wins is a brand new team winning a cup.
Yeah.
Nobody,
Yeah, you're guaranteed to see the cup come to a new home there. All right, and then let's go out east then. Since you brought up Florida. So the Florida-Carolina series. With Florida, we've talked about Bobrovsky, how he has come to life. This is his first time playing in a conference final. He's never been to this level of playoffs before. Matthew Tkachuk.
Good point.
Matthew Tkachuk is playing like the guy that Florida thought they were getting when they traded away Huberdeau to Calgary to get Tkachuk. Now, Tkachuk has been to this level before, but let's start there with Florida. Do you think they've got enough to get through?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Tkachuk, he's right up on there on that same list of highest scoring players in the postseason. But of I think it was like 5 of them, and the majority of them were all Edmonton. But he was on there too, along with Rupe Hintz. So I think they got a good shot. I mean, I go back to the first round. They beat Boston. It was, head and shoulders above everybody the entire season. This one stat, let's see. Panthers beat a team that had 43 more points and 19 more points than them in the regular season. Wow.
Oh yeah.
And now they're gonna face a team who finished with 21 more points than them. So, but if you're gonna be able to beat Boston in that first round, I don't think anything's gonna scare you at this point.
It shouldn't. Yeah, it certainly. Yeah, you got through Boston. You're looking over at Carolina and you're saying, "Hey, we've got this." And of course, you've got the family storyline there. All 3 Stahl brothers are in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yep. Here, I got it. 7th time that 3 brothers have squared off in a series in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as Eric and Mark of the Panthers take on brother Jordan of the Hurricanes. Prior occasions, the Sutter brothers in 1992, the Sutter brothers again in 1987, Sutters in 1985, and Barkley and Bob Plager of St. Louis defeating Bill Plager of Minnesota in 1968, the Bouchers in 1924, and the Bouchers again in 1924. Oh, one was the semis and one was the actual final.
Hey, but I mean, if you're having to go back 100 years, though, for some of that, this is pretty wild. I mean, first of all, you've got, it's, of course, the amazing phenomenon. You've got 3 brothers that all made it into the NHL, and they've all been in it for a long time, too. This is, the 16th season that all 3 of them have been in the NHL?
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
This stat, we had to go back so far, like you said, 100 years, that it wasn't the Vancouver Canucks. It was the, ready? Vancouver Millionaires.
Oh, that's so 1924.
The Roaring 20s, yes.
Yes, indeed. F. Scott Fitzgerald definitely approves, darling.
The Vancouver Great Gatsby's.
Oh boy. Now we're going places. I mean, we go off the rails on this show. Now we're really going off the rails.
AP Lit from high school.
Oh man. For the Stahl brothers personally here, I'm trying to find it exactly. Let's see. Eric and Jordan matched up against each other back in 2009 in the Eastern Conference Final. Eric was with Carolina. Jordan was with Pittsburgh. That would have been Jordan coming out on top with Pittsburgh that year, if I'm remembering right.
In 2009, yeah, because it was 2009 was Detroit and Pittsburgh in the final.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep. Oh, and that was the year Pittsburgh won. So yeah, so Jordan
Yep.
has won the cup. So he's got that. He's got that going for him. Now Mark has gone against Jordan twice. Mark was playing with the Rangers at the time. That was back in 2008. But yeah, this is the first time that all three of them have met up in the same series, and it's with the cup on the line. Now you got to figure that whichever brother or brothers doesn't make it into the cup final, are they gonna get invited to the finals to watch from the press box suite, you think?
Here I thought you were going to say, are the winning brothers going to go take the cup to the losing brother so he at least can see it and touch it?
Oh heck no way!
Yeah, no. I think your first idea was probably better. Yeah, they might invite him. Here you can come watch, but no, you can only touch the cup if you win. but I guess if they want to, be real big a-holes, they could bring it to him and then just tease him with it. Oh, you can only look, but you can't touch.
Yeah, look, no touch. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you can't touch this. That would be no, you can't do that.
I mean, having an older brother, that's kind of what older brothers do sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Now, for Carolina, of course, in net, you've got Freddie Anderson, who's been playing so very, very well. He's actually undefeated. I believe he's the only goalie still active in the playoffs that hasn't lost a start yet. 6 games plays, he's 5-0 in the playoffs, so 1.8 goals against to this point, 134 saves on 144 shots.
Hang on, you said 6 games played and he's 5-0?
6 games played, he's 5-0. He came in relief in a game.
Oh, okay.
So with all that in mind, who do you see coming out of this?
Oh, I think I'm going to stick with what my original prediction. I'm going to go Carolina.
And that's everything in my gut is telling me Carolina. Everything in my head is telling me Carolina. That, yeah, this should be the Hurricanes. They're the better team. They've been the better team all season long compared to Florida. But Florida has just come on so strong lately, and Bobrovsky has been playing so well. I think I'm actually going to go Florida in this one. I think I'm going to go Panthers. So I think we're looking at a Vegas-Florida Stanley Cup final. I don't know if it'll ever – I don't think it'll get below 80 degrees in either spot.
Right, yeah. Well, we were talking at the beginning of the playoffs, okay, who do you think is the biggest threat to Boston? And, I originally said Carolina. I could see those two, duking it out in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, well, Boston didn't make it, but Carolina's still here. So I'm sticking with Carolina.
I can't fault you for that. Like I said, I cannot fault you one bit for that. They are definitely the better team. Sebastian Aho is playing well. Freddie Anderson is playing extremely well in net. You still have, the Stalls playing. You still have the Stall playing well in there. The team is playing well at the right time. Just manhandled New Jersey. Hard to argue with you there.
Yeah. Your boy Nito, did he play for Carolina at one point?
He did. I don't believe he is yet with Carolina, though. Nino Niederreiter. Where is Nino Niederreiter? Tell you what, I will pay off that tease on the other side of a quick break because we have a birthday to celebrate. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come out, IE Sports Radio is 9 years old. We will celebrate in our own unique way on the flip side of this break. You are listening to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, And oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff from my people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach back with you for one more segment before we turn things over to Cale Henderson of Sin City Sports. But Zach, real quick, pay off that tease for us. Where is Nino Niederreiter these days?
He is with the Winnipeg Jets. So he made the playoffs, but he got eliminated in that first round by Vegas.
Should have stuck with Carolina. Ah, well. All right, we have just a couple of minutes before we have to make our grand exit for Cale Henderson and Sin City Sports, where he will be talking all things Golden Knights. He will be prepping for Friday night for Game 1 in that series. It is IE Sports Radio's 9th birthday. It was yesterday, technically, but all week long, all of the shows here on the network are celebrating in their own ways. And I did this last night on Chi-Town Weekly, but I thought it'd be fun for us to do here to just bring up some famous hockey players who wore jersey or sweater number 9 throughout their career. Zach, who is your one of your favorite number 9s?
Well, Adam, I'm going to have to go Gordie Howe.
Go figure. A Red Wings fan going Gordie Howe.
But of course.
Give us the quick rundown on Mr. Howe.
Gotta be on brand, of course.
Absolutely.
You do yours, and I'll come.
Okay. I was gonna say you lost your numbers. Well, of course, I pick on you, but then I'm gonna go with the obvious choice on my end, Bobby Hull of the Blackhawks. You know, the late Bobby Hull, unfortunately, I should say.
Yeah, well, late Gordie Howe too.
Yeah. But Bobby Hull, just one of the greatest hockey players of all time.
Well, you had said that in the message, and it didn't dawn on me that he was a Blackhawk. It's just like, oh, huh. Until I looked it up myself. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
We got some current players too. Jack Eichel from Vegas.
Ooh, a good pick, a very good pick. Yes, still active in the playoffs. Even one Jack Eichel.
Philip Forsberg from Nashville, the Preds' most consistent and lethal scorer, greater than 20 goals in every full season.
Another solid choice. You got one more for us there?
No, but I got a fun fact. And going back to Gordie Howe, I mean, does he need any more mentioning? I mean, really, he's like he's right up there with Gretzky. Like, he's one of the best players ever.
Indeed. What's your fun fact? And then I have one more for us.
Sure. the most common retired number is number 9. It's been put to the rafters 10 times by 9 teams. So therefore, one of the teams has done it twice. You want to guess who?
How do you retire the same number twice?
I wondered the same thing, but I don't know.
That defeats the whole purpose of retiring it and then giving it back to somebody. Why'd you retire it?
The New York Rangers apparently did it twice.
See, I was going to guess Arizona just because.
Just because they're stupid.
Who were the 2 Rangers to both wear 9 and get it retired?
Right. But yeah, it's the best number of all time due to the number of superstars who have donned it on their backs, apparently.
Who were the 2 Rangers?
We'll have to take a look. I don't know.
Oh, you just closed the list, didn't you?
Well, no, the list didn't even say it. It just said New York has done it twice.
Larry's in the chat saying the same thing. How do you could retire the same number twice? That makes no sense. That's the whole point of retiring a number is you don't issue it again. That's right. The whole point.
Well, here, we'll pay off that tease next week. You said you had one more thing.
Yeah, I have one more. Though what you just did is way more ridiculous than what I was going to do. I'm going to cheat with my last one because he wore 2 9s. Number 99, the great one, Gretzky.
Oh, I was thinking about doing that too.
Great minds think alike. Right. We got to sound the horn. We got to get out of here because coming up is Cale Henderson with Sin City Sports, and we got to make room for him. All right. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, Bay Area Raised, Emlo's Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous for helping support the station and this show. If you want to help out, go to our website, idsportsradio.com. You find our Patreon link there. It starts at just $5 a month. Thank you to Larry B. for all the hard work you're doing behind the scenes and for hanging out with us this last hour in the chat room. It is very much appreciated, sir. Thank you to you for listening to us as we go through this wacky hockey show that occasionally drifts off into AP Literature show that we do every Tuesday night. We have fun doing it, and we hope that you have as much fun listening to it as we do putting it on. For Zach Poplis, I am Adam Karnick. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. Next week, we'll be into the conference finals. This time next week, we won't know who's in the Stanley Cup final, but we'll be a little bit closer to knowing. We will break down the first couple games. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see what other fun, wacky, weird things happen along the way. Once again, he is Zach. I am Adam. Until next week, everybody be safe, be healthy, stay out of the boards, don't wind up in the penalty box, and as always, be sure to protect your 5-hole. We'll see you next week, everybody.